Once again, we're back on Boond Soch ttalk Train of Thought with a series of an episode with Dr. Sandhya Saharan, exclusively on ttalk Boond Soch. She is a gynecologist, and in fact, I've got a passion of singing, acting, yoga, multiple tasking, and she was also past president of TOPS, that is Sandhya Obstetrics and Gynecologist Society in 2021. And in fact, it's a great, interesting insight to what we are getting from her journey. Ma'am, welcome back again.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Dr. Sandhya, if you will see today, there are the various medical institutes with a mushroom all over country, and parents, if you will see, everyone wanted their children to be part of medicines. And if they don't go in a particular way, then it's a caption money which are there. And where if they are not capable, the abilities are not there, and you may get an admission, but then the challenge lies further.
See, now that all depends on how the systems evolve.
Mm-hmm.
Now, when there is something called a need. Mm-hmm. When there is a market, now we all know there is a dearth of doctors.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever said and done in our country with the population, mm-hmm. there's a massive dearth of doctors, mm-hmm. healthcare professionals, especially in the rural areas.
Mm-hmm.
So when there is so much of a gap between what is a demand and what is a supply,
mm-hmm.
so I believe the systems will keep changing so that
mm-hmm.
we have more colleges.
Mm-hmm.
So I believe there is always a win-win situation. It depends on how you look into it. It is not as if people who are not very competent get into private colleges. Mm-hmm. It is not the same. Everybody does work hard. Mm-hmm. And I believe to get into medicine, you should have a certain kind of a liking, mm-hmm. and you should have the basic requisite qualities, mm-hmm. which I believe are there in mm-hmm. those who take up medicine. Now, mm-hmm. it is just, I would say, a method of how you get it. Mm-hmm. It's very difficult to get into municipal run college or a state run college, mm-hmm. government run college. Mm-hmm. There are restricted seats.
Correct.
So it is not as if there should be no, I would say, way where the others can avail of that. Mm-hmm. So it is just basically making the facilities available. Mm-hmm. And if you have the requisite amount of funds, mm-hmm. then why not? Why should we deprive somebody who is, wanting to do something, mm-hmm. but not getting into in a particular way? So mm-hmm. I believe it is just, how you look upon it. Mm-hmm. And it's a level playing field. Mm-hmm. If you can get in this way, then fine. If you can't, then you try the other method, or else keep trying.
And Dr. Sandhya, also what happens, many a times there is a perception, एक बार doctor बन गया तो पैसा ही पैसा है, then you make a career. Is that easy to make money at the initial stage?
No. See, this is something which we need to dispel. People feel जैसे अरे हाँ आप तो doctor हैं. It is not as if there is a kalpavriksha,
mm-hmm.
that you're just sitting under a tree and the money is falling on you. Mm-hmm. No, in fact, it is the other way around. We need to sensitize everybody that mm-hmm. a doctor's learning curve, mm-hmm. the education part of it is mm-hmm. so long. Mm-hmm. Whereas the other professionals who are into engineering or IT or mm-hmm. other branches, mm-hmm. they are in their early 20s and they start earning. Mm-hmm. They start earning very well nowadays. Mm-hmm. Seeing the packages which are being given to these professionals. Correct. Whereas you compare a doctor mm-hmm. who is struggling now with the amount of entrance exams. First you give an entrance to get into medical college, then you get entrance to get into post-graduation, and suppose you're going for a super specialty. You're looking at a timeline of 10 to 15 years minimum. I spent 10 years after I got into MBBS to finish my MD. That is because it was very smooth. We didn't have any entrances at that time. But now there is always, 1 or 2 years when you have to prepare. And many a times students don't get the branch they want. So they wait. They keep giving multiple times. So the waiting period also comes to 2 or 3 years in between.
Correct.
So easily 15 years is what we are looking at. So by the time you finish, you are somewhere in your 30s. And everything gets delayed. Marriage, starting a family, and then you don't have the money to buy your own house. Whereas your schoolmates or friends are already having fancy houses and cars with good packages. So, you cannot say that, a doctor is making a pile of money, and when you're starting practice, it is very, very difficult.
Correct.
You need to start from scratch. You need to develop a practice. It takes a lot of time, and sometimes, you may not even land up having a great practice. So it causes a lot of frustration also.
Correct.
And it is somewhere in the 40s that you are making a mark. There are very few doctors who, manage to make a big name by the time they are in their 30s. Very few. It is always this. Jitne safed baal dikhte hain, people will go to that doctor. Experience in medicine counts.
Correct. So it's step by step how you making a base more stronger. That's more important.
I would say it's a very slow progress. There are, we are looking at the 10% who are at the top. And they have also reached there after a lot of labor. So they are if you're seeing somebody going in a Mercedes or somebody going in a Porsche or any fancy car, that person has really worked hard.
Correct.
And he's reached there. Correct. So you should not compare. So I would not say that it's a very, very lucrative profession, but I would say definitely it gives you a lot of rewards in other ways.
And it's a more noble profession, I think.
It's a noble profession. Today also it's a noble profession because every doctor wants to give their best.
Correct.
No doctor wants the patient to suffer.
Correct.
We are all here to, promote healing. So I would say that nobody wants to just, take money from a patient with the intention of, not helping the patient.
Correct. I think Dr. Sandhya, I'm sure like your journey, the way you have gone in a committed way and the practices to what you had, it's excellent. But uske saath mein, like I'm sure like you need to be very focused as far as this profession which is concerned, as far as the medicines which are concerned, you need to upgrade yourself on a regular basis. But uske saath mein Dr. Sandhya, passion towards singing, dance, and then again drama. How you balance your family and your professional, and how you can do it like?
It is difficult. See, what happens is, I always tell everybody, first you have to explore your core capability. So now, fine, you've done your medicine, you've established your practice. The first few years are very difficult. I would not say that, I was doing so much when I was in my 20s. Luckily, I finished doing my post-graduation by the time I finished 25. I had the early start. In those times, we would start early. And I got married early. I got married in my internship, which is very early for a doctor. I did my post-graduation after marriage.
After marriage.
But it was very supportive, that I could manage to do it. And then I started practice immediately after my post-graduation. I did not wait.
Okay.
So I had an early start in starting a practice also. But then the first few years, 5 years that you are starting your practice, definitely I was concentrating on, making my own name and making a mark. And I was also evolving in the sense I was going and learning laparoscopic surgery at that point of time. And I, by God's grace and by the goodwill of my seniors and my patients, I managed to make a mark very early, and in my early 30s I had established a very good practice. And I also was blessed to have a daughter. So I would say it was a lot of juggling, but you, like I said, if you prioritize and you try and manage your time. But I had a good support system at home, in the sense I did not have so much of family support because my husband was traveling at that point of time. And I had a father-in-law who was a little older, but he was very active. But I managed to get good domestic help. And my parents would come often from Nashik. They were in Nashik that time. But they would come and they would help out. So I had a good support system.
Great. I think I might say, if you're listening to Dr. Sandhya Saharan on this ttalk ek bund soch ki, the interesting journey of her into medicines and how she balanced and her professional life and also passion towards singing, dance and yoga. It's basically life is all about how you balance yourself. I'm sure the target audience who are listening to her, there's a lot of insights and the motivation for you to navigate as far as your life journey which are concerned. Do catch up with Dr. Sandhya Saharan in our next episode of ttalk ek bund soch ki. And if you like this episode, go to www.ttalk.net. Subscribe and like the channel as much as you can. Dr. Sandhya, thanks a lot for being part of the show. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
God bless
Thank you.